Welcome to the All Access Podcast from the experts at Tebis. Each episode, we'll talk about technology topics, trends, or solutions that manufacturers need to know in today's rapidly evolving times. Sit back, enjoy the discussion, and let us know what you think.
Hello, my friends. Welcome to the All Access Podcast. I am your host, Michael Thiessen, and we are glad that you have joined us. I think this is going to be one of those episodes that probably you're going to re-listen a couple times, because I think the information that you're going to receive today, I think, is important for you, especially if you're looking at technology and you're planning on improving some items in your operation. Why am I saying this? We're a couple weeks away from the IMTS. And it always happens in Chicago, as you know. Every couple of years, every other year, you will see that Chicago becomes the mecca of manufacturing and technology. And so I think it is fitting for this particular podcast to kind of highlight companies or technologies that maybe are worthwhile to you as you maybe are planning or making decisions if you want to go to this particular event. So we decided to bring an old friend back, a person that has been at our show already a couple of times, so he is a repeat offender. And this particular gentleman has an extensive knowledge when it comes to the manufacturing field. He has been in the manufacturing society as well as dealing with softwares for 30 plus years. He started as a tool and die maker and worked his way all the way up to this company that I'm going to introduce you here shortly. We've invited John Kowalczyk, the president of Thiessen America, to come on this particular show to give you some insights. And of course, he has a long background in manufacturing, as already said, and I think he can give us some tips and tricks, what to see, what not to see at IMTS, also what Tebis is all about at IMTS. So without any further ado, John, thank you for being on the All Access Podcast.
Thank you very much, Michael. Thanks for the nice introduction. And I'd like to say hello to everyone out there, all our listeners. I want to say it's my pleasure to be here today sharing with you some of our plans for the upcoming IMTS event. So interestingly, I think back and I'm thinking, wow, I've attended every IMTS since 1998. So if I do the math, that's only 13 of them, though. But the reality is it's only every other year. But this will be the 13th IMTS I'll be attending, and it's never disappointing. Let me say this much.
It's quite an accomplishment, I got to say that. Let me right away get to that particular point, because you prepared that segue so beautifully. So since 1998, you've been attending IMTS every other year. You made that trek down to Chicago, in the heart of Chicago, going to McCormick Center. It has never moved, so it's always been there. If you think back, take your time capsule and go back to 1998, the first time you went to that particular show as a youngster. What was your impression at that particular time, and how has this particular IMTS show changed over the course of the last 20, 25 years or longer?
So, yeah, I think back, as you had mentioned, the very first IMTS I went to, yeah, it's immense, I will say. For those of you who haven't been there, I urge you to attend this show. Others that have gone, it's remarkable. It's just, there's so much to see. There's so much technology. There's so much to learn and gain and network with, whether it's a partner, whether it's colleagues, whether it's, other businesses. So people from all over the world attend this show, and it's in short, remarkable in that aspect.
So what has changed? I mean, I look back in my 20 odd years here at Tebis, and of course of previously at my previous employer. I went to the IMTS shows there as well. I want to get your aspect of what has changed. Obviously, we're talking the duration. Back then, it was quite a bit longer than what we have now.
Yes, back then it was actually a 2-week, 14 days, I believe, straight, which was, if you attended the show or you were an exhibitor, it was exhausting at the time, but always a pleasure to be there, of course. Things have changed. The show has been shortened by time, but again, what you gain from going to this IMTS event, you can observe all the latest technologies. Let's say, for example, the machine tool halls. What these companies bring to the table, what they have as far as the next level technology. Of course, we can't leave out the software side of the business, which is our expertise, and tooling and robotics. And I could go on, Michael, but yeah, that's over time. It's just, it gets further and further and further. As we know, technology just keeps advancing. There's no stopping it moving forward. So you just need to embrace this technology, embrace, while you're there. And when you come back, I have to imagine the word will be wow.
Yeah. If I think back a little bit, John, technology, you already said that, has changed so much. And there were certain technologies that were almost introduced at IMTS. If I think back of scanning technology when that first came out, or 3D printing technology I remember going to an IMTS where they had one of the largest 3D printers in one of the halls, fabricating or printing a car and so forth. It is simply mind-blowing of the level of technology that we have come in these last 30 years plus. Technology that we know in our CAD/CAM system, at least, that has changed dramatically. Would you say?
Yes, absolutely. And jumping forward or looking forward, now we have all the buzz around artificial intelligence, short AI. But of course, this is something that we, Tebis, are also focusing on, as with others, to some other level or degree. So I would say, in my opinion, as we're looking back over the years, and we won't get into all the technology from the past, but looking forward, one of the big ones this year, in my opinion, is going to be the artificial intelligence. There's going to be a lot to see and digest in this area.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. AI, automating as much as possible, but utilizing this artificial intelligence in a way that it can enhance manufacturing is going to be key for the future. And maybe 30 years from now, lo and behold, if we're still here going to the IMTS in 30 years from now, I'm going to be interested to see what is an IMTS going to look like in about 30 years. Similar to when you went to your 1998 debut at IMTS. And I think with how quickly technology evolves and how quickly it's being applied to the manufacturing sector, it's going to be just a marvel to look back in 30 years and say, you know what, 30 years ago, we were dealing with actual machines that we had to feed stuff to, And who knows what the future will look like. So let me change the topic a little bit. Tebis has gone to this IMTS show, I think, since the beginning of its inception here, or its groundbreaking in 96 here in the US. Tebis has been here since then. And this IMTS always has been a big, big item for Tebis. Why do you think that is such a big deal, or why it is such a big show for a company such as Tebis?
Well, for starters, as mentioned, this is the place or event to be for companies to see the latest technology and trends. So for Tebis, it's very important for multiple reasons, one of which many of our customers will surely attend the show, and we welcome all of our customers and invite them to the show in a sense to visit our booth. They will not only explore the halls and learn about everything IMTS has to offer, but as they stop by our booth, they'll have interest in things like, okay, what can we expect in upcoming software releases, or what are you working on as far as Tebis specifically. So these are huge for us. On top of, in addition to this, I should say, and not to mention, it's a great networking event, meaning for collaboration with our existing partners and potential new partners. So this is also something where we can coordinate, have some discussions with, and see if it makes sense for future partnerships.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think it's important from the Tebis side. If we look at, Tebis is developed in Germany. All the development is happening at their facility over in Martinsried. They have their open house once a year. And of course, this particular technology needs to make it to the American public. And what better location? We're here in Troy, Michigan, not too far away from Chicago, to bring that new technology, should that be AI or automation or whatever, cloud computing, whatever Tebis is bringing out and working on. What greater opportunity it is for us to bring that to the IMTS and let everybody else see what level of technology Tebis has out of the box available to improve the manufacturing at our mold shops, die shops, aerospace facilities, so that they can benefit from the technologies that Tebis builds in. I think that's a huge opportunity. I think it's still necessary for today's, and I know we've talked about this multiple times before, the internet has taken some of that feeling away because you can research online, but there's still something to be said to talk to the experts, to get their input, to run something by them in one spot. People that have the machine tools there, the cutting tools there, the clamping devices there, people that have the software readily available and try something out. That is the one area where you can put all of the components together and try to see what happens. So I think it's a huge, huge deal from the Tebis side, as you said, to bring that technology out in that particular area. So
Michael, you had mentioned earlier about, so many years have taken place and so many years with IMTS moving forward. If I may just comment on this. So interestingly, this is our 40th anniversary, meaning Tebis existence. We've been developing our software and solutions for 40 years. That's 4 decades of success, in my opinion. However, I still think the best is yet to come. And our slogan at IMTS this year is Shape the Future. So this is a very powerful slogan. Of course, we will entertain a little bit about, future development, but more so than the future develop. We all like to talk about the future and it's all exciting. But as you mentioned, Michael, what about today? So we touch on just a couple key points, today, what we will focus on at the show. So for just to mention a couple of things, one of which automation. We've been working very, very hard and for some time on automating. You may say, okay, why? Well, of course, as we all know, maximize your resources, speed, accuracy. These all play a role, and you can automate whatever you can automate. You should focus on automating to benefit your business. So that's one thing. Digitalization. It's always a tough word for me, so I refer to it as a virtual environment. This, of course, this is another aspect that we do very, very well with Tebis. So we represent your entire virtual environment of your shop within the software. So things, your machine tool, your tooling, your work holdings, you name it, this can be brought into the digital world. And one last on this topic, there's many others, but I just want to put one more out there. We want to spread the word more about our Tebis MES system. Our MES, for those aren't aware, manufacturing execution system. And in short, this is a type of system for controlling your entire manufacturing process from raw materials to finished products. So we will have a designated area for our Tebis MES, and this would be surely worthwhile for our visitors to take a look.
Yeah, MES system is huge, especially dealing with your planning, your milestones, your delivery, you're figuring out if people are showing up to work or machines are going down and wondering, am I still going to make my deadline? And having this particular solution connected to the manufacturing system, the programming system, the one that will deliver the programs to the CNC machine that are ultimately manufacturing the part for you, that is huge. Having that connection together between CAM and MES all together in one. Yeah. Automation is something that you and I have been talking about for a very, very long time. And at times we've gotten resistance from clients that says, you know what can you automate? You can't automate. And I think it's going to be interesting to see if companies are visiting the booth of what level of automation Tebis can do. And believe me, I don't have to tell you this, you can tell me this too. Clients that are using automation already are light years ahead of capabilities of what they can do, of integration, of the utilization of their resources, and it's truly amazing of the solutions that Tebis has in store. So let me ask you this: 2 years ago, IMTS, put yourself back there. Tebis had a very special project that they showcased, which was the Statue of Liberty. What is the project that Tebis has in store for this IMTS?
Great question, Michael. We are very excited about this year's showpiece. I mean, we're always excited about showpieces. This one in particular, though, we'll have on display a Stratus guitar, which is machined entirely out of aluminum. The best part about this guitar that we manufactured, I'll call it a working guitar, meaning it has guitar strings, all the components necessary to produce music. It's not quite as elegant sounding as a typical guitar, as you can imagine, but it's a working playing guitar. And this will be on display at our booth. You'll be able to see, ask questions about it. It was machined with one of our partners. We designed it, of course, with our system, and our partner machined it. And yes, this is very exciting for us at the company here, and I think it'll be a big hit for our visitors.
So obviously, aluminum, more than likely. Everything was machined. There were some components that were purchased, which are knobs and gizmos and stuff like that. And by all means, I'm not a guitar player, so I don't know what those gizmos are called. But those things, everything, the neck, the body was all machined. You should see the surface finish on that particular item that came out of the various machines. Actually, multiple machines were used to produce this particular part, because we wanted to show that the surface finish that can be attained is, at times dependent on the machine, but very much so on the quality and the capability of the cam system. And I think we showed there some 5-axis programming on there, some 2D from what I understand, some drilling of holes and tapping and all that kind of stuff. But I think the surface finish is predominantly what you should see on there. So it is a Stratus guitar. People can walk right up to it in the show. And from what I'm being told, they can actually stand behind it, take a picture of it. So if you're coming to our booth, make sure you take a picture of it and maybe post it if you want to, but we'll get into that later. So besides that guitar, any other items that Tebis wants to get out of the bag and tell the listeners what kind of other showpieces we have there?
As far as showpiece, yes, we have another very intricate, I'll call it, showpiece. We call it the mask. You may have seen this. Actually, we've had some of this out on social media already, but we'll have it on display, and you will be able to take a close look at it, the intricacies of how it was machined. So this is also another showpiece. I think that'll be an attention grabber.
Yeah. It's one of those masks that really stand out. Now, other technologies that Tebis has, and I'm going to see breached into. One of them is, of course, mill turning. We have this capability also in Tebis, and I believe there's a showpiece that shows the capabilities of what this particular functionality is capable of. So if a person now is deciding, okay, I'm going to go to the IMTS, what would you say they should look out for? Or where should they spend some time? Obviously, at Tebis, at the booth. What is always interesting to you if you go to these shows, and of course you walk the hallways too, if you can give the listeners some idea of what to focus on or where to go to?
Yes. Thank you, Michael. So, as I mentioned earlier, it is quite overwhelming. There's so much to see. I'll take a little bit of time, of course, away from the booth, because for each and every one of us, you should, even if you're an exhibitor, go see what's out there. But for me, walking down to areas like the machine tool hall with the machine manufacturers, just what new machinery, meaning there could be different kinematics to a machine, a new style that they're unveiling at the particular show, or that's always interesting on one hand from myself. And controllers for the machine are always evolving, and things like tooling. I mean, everybody, in order to manufacture, at least from a material removal aspect, you need tooling. And it's interesting to me to see tooling develop. And not so many years ago, this tool, it was called a barrel tool. Michael, you'll know what I'm talking about. And it's very interesting. It's getting more and more recognition and used today. But, I'm guessing there's going to be maybe something else that we're potentially not aware of until you show up at IMTS. So I'm just touching on, areas. It goes on and on. I didn't even get into like robots and other aspects, but these are things that I will be looking out for.
Yeah, I think a lot of different manufacturers out there are getting into this entire aspect of AI. I'd be interested to see some of the machine tools. How are they using it? If I remember way back when, I think this is now 4, maybe even 6 years ago, before COVID, Makino had a machine where you can talk to essentially, and it would do some of those items when this entire idea of Alexa came out. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see what kind of level of technology they have now built into these machines and what they can do and how they have connected. You mentioned robots in connection with these machines to load the pallets and unload them. So it's going to be very interesting of how this technology is being brought to the end consumer. So, John, you are taking a whole team of Tebis, I believe, to the show. Let's step away from the McCormick Center for a second. What are you looking forward to? I mean, you've gone there now since '98 to Chicago. There's got to be something you're looking forward to.
Looking forward to outside of the show? Outside of
the show. I mean, you're in the skyline of Chicago. I know these are very long nights and long days. I think there's a slew of restaurants. The atmosphere is just electric that is in that city during that time, because no matter where you go for dinner, you always run into other manufacturers that are at the McCormick Center.
Yeah, it's always you're right, Michael, and yes, I agree 100%. I do also look forward to the evenings because with your own team, it's good for team building. You go to dinner and have some good discussions away from, let's say, the IMTS atmosphere, and then also you're either going to be with some visitors or customers at dinner or run into them while you're out, and you always have some really nice conversations, more, I'll call it, let's say, more in depth, but more loosely, open, not as businessy, if that's the way I could put it. So it's always good to collaborate and get to know somebody a little bit more.
Absolutely. I think it's a great opportunity for people at Tebis as well as other companies to kind of mingle, be social, talk a little bit outside of the business. And then next morning, we're right back in that hallway again and greeting each other again. And sometimes it's even adversaries, competing solutions, competing machines. Everybody comes together, and it's just it's a really friendly atmosphere. So in 2022, there are about 86,000 registrants. There were about 1,800 exhibitors that are there. Would you expect to get almost the same kind of turnout at this IMTS, or do you think it's even going to be more because of technology is so rapidly evolving?
My feeling is it will be more this year. I know, it was, nobody likes to talk about it today, but COVID happened, a pandemic, and during that time, things did slow down a little bit immediately after. IMTS attendance was, I believe, slightly down afterwards, but it's been ramping up gradually, ever since. And I feel this year is going to be a much higher audience at this show due to the fact that the technology just seems to be moving at a faster pace right now than previous years.
So as we're coming here to a close, because we have to wrap stuff up, any final thoughts or advice that you potentially could give some of the listeners that are maybe not yet have registered, or maybe are still thinking about it, or maybe have said, yes, I'm going there, but I really don't know what to look for and what to do. Any final thoughts to give to our listeners?
Well, I would definitely encourage all of you to visit. Take some time. The difficulty is to understand that you may think you can cover everything in one day, but I really don't think this is possible. I mean, you will need more than one day to, walk and have some discussion and understand and learn. And it's a fantastic opportunity to, just to get out there and learn and understand and network. You won't regret it. Believe me. I've been, doing this we talked about for many, many years. And every year I come away with a very, very positive outlook for the future.
So you guys must be, at this point in time, extremely excited. Emotions must be really high in order to get every single thing perfect. And I think it's a great time right now to be in playing this IMTS. So John, I thank you for being on this episode, on this podcast, this pre-IMTS teaser. And I wish you and the team at Tebis much success.
Thank you very much, Michael, and thank you to all listeners of our podcast.
All right, my friends, you've heard it here first. IMTS is literally around the corner, 2 weeks away in a couple of days. You have 1,900, maybe 2,000 exhibitors in one spot. Bring your good walking shoes. Take your time, speak to people, bring your problems, find new solutions, have an open mind, and see what's out there, and enjoy yourself while you're at this show. I know it's long, but you can't miss it. So, and while you're there, do me this favor. Stop by at the Tebis booth. The booth is 133230. That's our booth. Make sure you come in, look at the guitar that Tebis has produced, as well as the mask that was there, as well as the Milturn, and talk to our experts. See how Tebis can assist you with your questions or your problems, or seeing how you could be enhanced. Give us a few minutes of your time and look us up. And while you're in Chicago, don't miss a Chicago deep dish pizza. That's for sure. So make sure you'll have one of those. With that said, I wish you all good luck at the IMTS. Hopefully we will see you there. If you see us there, mention the podcast and that you're a loyal listener. If you have some ideas of maybe some topics that we should cover, let us know. Send us to marketing@tebisusa.com. And I will talk to you next time. With that said, have a good rest of your day and keep manufacturing. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining this episode of All Access. Please leave a comment or review with your feedback or what you'd like to hear in future episodes. To learn more about manufacturing technology solutions and Tebis's capabilities, visit our website at Tebis. That's TEBIS.com.